Well, hi, everybody. For those of us who haven't met, my name is Michael Hope. I'm the Assistant Principal Bassoonist of your Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra, and we are sitting here on a nice afternoon in Northwest Calgary thinking about the end of our concert season. And the reason why we're doing that is because at the end of every season, we like to acknowledge some significant career milestones that have been achieved by some of our great musicians. And today we are sitting here having a chat with our principal trombonist, Jim Scott, and our assistant principal oboist, David Sussman, both of whom are celebrating the completion of their 40th seasons in the Calgary Philharmonic. First of all, Jim and David, congratulations on your careers so far. It's great to have you here. Jim, first of all, tell us something. You were raised and born in the northeastern United States. What made you decide to come and live in Calgary? And what have you liked about it here so far?
Well, like so many people, if you're a musician, you follow where the jobs are. And I saw the audition for here. I actually had to look up in an atlas to find out where Calgary was. Mm-hmm. I came here for the job, but then I came to love the outdoors and all the things that Calgary offers. And Calgary's changed a lot, too, in the time I've been here. I think it's more than doubled in size, population, since all of us came here. So it's become a real metropolitan center, which I enjoy very much.
Hey, David, you were born in Toronto. Yep. And so now after having lived in Calgary for 40 years, what do you love about this place? And why are you glad that you moved here?
My kids have grown up here. It's been a wonderful place for them. I feel like the sky is really open here compared to what I grew up with, and I like that. It's funny, I remember my first day arriving in Calgary after I'd won the job, and I thought, why is everything named Trail? Like I wasn't used to that. And then my very first day, I saw somebody crossing Center Street on a horse. And I thought, wow, where have I moved to? So it was a shock to me.
You're a real pioneer here, right?
Well, it was something. And I really love the fact that many people in Calgary have come from other places, and there's a real sense of friendliness and welcoming of people, and friends are very important when people don't have a lot of family close by. Yeah. And I've loved that warmth that I felt here.
Hey, Jim, let's talk about your instrument a little bit. I'm dying to know something. I did some research and discovered that playing the trombone provides the highest musical cardiovascular workout in the orchestra. I mean, that is, you actually burn more calories playing the trombone, 280 per hour, than any other instrument. Why is it playing the trombone so strenuous and athletic?
I think it's just that you move a lot of oxygen, so you breathe deeply. I don't think you have quite the same physical activity behind that. Yeah,
because most people think it's this business, right?
Yeah,
but it's not.
But
right?
I wish it was the same as going to the gym. It's not. If anything, it makes you hungry.
Right.
Of course, we also don't play nonstop in the orchestra quite the same way as some instruments. There's a funny story of Ormandy that some woman, when the orchestra played in a small town, sent him a note saying, "I love the orchestra, but just to let you know, those guys that play the instruments that go in and out, they only play when you're looking at them."
That's right. That sounds like a low brass player. That's great. Well, that's really interesting news about the trombone, stuff I didn't know. Speaking of things we don't know, so David, let's talk about the oboe. You know, if there is a deep, dark secret about playing the oboe that most people don't know, what would it be?
I guess it would have to be the reeds.
Yeah.
Because we're at the mercy of our reeds sometimes. All oboe players, or most anyway, make their own reeds. And so we're spending hours whittling away, creating the reed for us. And it's a double-barreled thing. It can be wonderful because sometimes I can get just the perfect reed for a certain piece. I can get the sound I want, the response I want. It's just to give the right character for that piece.
Yeah. David, that's so interesting. You know, I guess you make so many reeds in order to sound as consistent as possible. And speaking of consistency, that makes me think of something I want to ask you, Jim. You know, I've been sitting in front of you for, well, almost all of your career here in the Calgary Philharmonic. And
sorry about that.
Yes, don't apologize. In fact, I've actually enjoyed it. I've loved hearing how solid and accurate you are day in, day out. So tell us a little bit about your routines, your conditioning routines, and everything you've done to maintain such a high level of playing for 40 years.
I'm sure there's times when I don't, for sure. But the lips of a brass instrument are like the reeds of your instruments.
So those are the parts that vibrate all the time
and make the sound. So a lot of a brass player's routine is just exercises and things, arpeggios and long tones and things like that, slurring, tonguing patterns, just trying to maintain all those things so you can keep them going.
Well, you've done a great job, whatever it is you are doing. You know, I remember some incredible weekends where we would play a hard concert on a Friday night, and then the following Saturday afternoon, I'd hear a story about how you had spent the afternoon at the Ironwood in Inglewood, playing all afternoon, having a great time with the big band. And then that same Saturday night, you would come back and repeat the concert that we had played with the Calgary Philharmonic again. So that's 3 huge concerts over a 24-hour period. You did this regularly, and still you sounded so great and so solid. So, I mean, it's amazing your stamina. So whatever you've been doing has been fantastic. David, while I've been sitting in front of Jim for the past 39 years of my career, I've been sitting right behind you. So, yeah, we've been closer than we are now. And, and being so close to you over the years, one thing I've noticed that in how you approach your career is that you love to laugh. And you tell me, what do you do to make life fun when you come to work?
Well, I know I'm very bad at the dad jokes at work. I'm the punster, but you know, if you throw out enough of them, you'll get 1 or 2 that people like. I think people sometimes appreciate a laugh. You know, that's because there's a lot of pressure when we're playing. Pressure from people. You know, we want to perform well for the audience, but it's largely internal pressure to be up to the standard that we have set for ourselves, and we want to be able to perform that consistently. And I find that laughter is a wonderful way to just relax that and have fun with it.
You know, I think anytime any of us in the woodwind section want to keep our minds active, we always try and think of a better pun for any situation than you would think of. And it's been a challenge because you're the best when it comes to making good puns.
Well, thank you. I don't know if that's a great honor or not, but thank you.
You know, both you guys have done more than just play in the orchestra. I mean, over the years, I've noticed you've both been featured in our brochures and our season programs. Jim, there's a great photo in one of our brochures where you are standing at ice level at the Saddle Dome in concert dress, holding your trombone with a huge smile on your face. Tell us, what was that like, and how did it feel?
It was fun. It was fun. They gave it, the folks at the Stampede gave us great access, and the photographer was really, really good at sort of encouraging a funny pose or whatever. And
and David, there's a great promotional shot of you serenading a bunch of live penguins at the zoo. How did that come about?
Well, for that brochure, they wanted to feature iconic places in Calgary, and the Calgary Zoo was one. And I have to be honest here. I was not in the penguin enclosure. They did have it booked so that I could go there and do it for half an hour, but we thought better of it, and no penguins were disturbed or harmed in the making of this photograph.
That's right. Well, except for yourself and your pride, seeing that you were wearing a penguin suit. You were a penguin per se.
I thought it was a cute idea.
Oh, that's great. Well, I thought both of you were great sports and showed great team spirit in participating in a promotional idea like that. That's wonderful. Hey, you know, guys, I did some research, and when you guys first joined the orchestra in 1981, certain things in the world had just happened. I mean, Ronald Reagan was just elected president. Calgary had just been awarded the 1988 Winter Olympics. The two biggest hits in Hollywood were Raiders of the Lost Ark and Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. The price of a liter of gasoline was 32.9 cents. And I think the biggest news of all was that our current music director, Rune Bergman, had just celebrated his 4th birthday. So, David, you know, the world might be a different place now than it was then, but symphonic classical music remains wonderfully the same. And why do you think that classical music and a symphony orchestra is so important to a community like ours?
During this pandemic, I haven't had the pleasure of playing in the orchestra for quite a long time with all my fellow musicians. And I find that if I'm listening to the radio, for example, and I hear something and I'm going, oh, that's a Beethoven symphony. I miss it so much. And I realize that's why Beethoven is one of the great composers, or Mozart or anything. You listen to it and I've heard it so many times before, but it's got something very special to hear again. And, you know, one of the things I loved when I started being an orchestral musician was being in the middle of all that sound. It was a visceral thrill to me. And I got to say, I still love doing that. And this is what I look forward to doing when we get back to work, just being in the middle of all that sound of a wonderful symphony or a piece of music that we're playing, with audiences that are moved by it, with wonderful soloists that we play. I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend my life.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so you guys have completed an amazing 40 years in the orchestra. And I say amazing because, you know, most people who play in the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra are not even 40 years old. So this is really something, a great achievement. But of course, your careers are not over yet. Jim, tell me, what are you looking forward to in your remaining years in the Calgary Philharmonic?
New repertoire. I'm still hoping that, for instance, we were supposed to play Bruckner 7th this year. I'm hoping that somehow manages to come back. But Shostakovich, I would love to play some of the other Shostakovich symphonies that aren't played quite as often.
So if you got to play some more Bruckner symphonies and the Shostakovich symphonies we haven't played, you would consider your career complete then, right?
It's never complete, but
Yeah,
it would be nice. It would certainly be a nice plus.
Wow. And David, so what are you looking forward to in your remaining years in the Calgary Philharmonic?
Well, it's funny because after this hiatus of not playing in the orchestra for over a year now, it's all going to feel fresh again. And I can't wait to play the old chestnuts, you know? I can't wait to play the Brahms symphonies and the Beethoven symphonies and Mozart. I just can't wait to play any of it. So I'm very excited. I do, you know, there are a few pieces I haven't played, but I've gotten to play so many of the great pieces, and especially the big English horn solos that, you know, are big. I find big responsibility to bring this gorgeous melody to life for people. And every time I get to play it, it's a fresh challenge. So.
One final question for you, Jim. You know, as I said, 40 years is a long time, but there's something about our job which is rejuvenating. And what is it about making music that makes you feel young?
You're always reminded when you play a great piece of class, like when we play the Beethoven Fifth, which is like the most iconic piece of classical music that everyone knows. You sit there and say, and as a trombonist, we sit there for the first three movements, not playing, and you say, there's a reason that this is iconic, you know, and that lifts you up. There's something about it. You realize there's a reason that music is still around a couple hundred years later, and people, and you know, I've always said with music like that, that's you know, when I was on programming, for instance, I would say the Beethoven Fifth, there's no age limit for something like that. So an 80-year-old grandmother can bring her 8-year-old grandson and really enjoy that experience in different ways, but just as much as the other does. And I think as a performer, that's true too. You enjoy it maybe on a little different level, but you enjoy it.
Yeah, I want to say that in my mere 39 years of playing in the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra.
Mike, who's going to interview you
Yeah,
next
that's
year?
right. Well, I have to say it's been elevating for me to be your colleague. It's been an honor to play with both of you all these years, and both of you really have inspired me and taught me things. And Jim, watching you at work has taught me the value of always challenging everybody around you to be better and always to be consistent and accurate. And David, sitting behind you all these years and being part of your everyday life has shown me how important it is to be diplomatic and musical and well, positive and cheerful. So thanks for that, guys. Guys, congratulations on your 40th anniversary. All of your colleagues hold you in the highest esteem.
Thanks, Mike.